Travis Wayne Goodsell. Oaks. Why is my mother rising from the zombie apocalypse to come and murder you? What did you do to my mama? Yesterday's video, in the process of recording and then making a pretty picture, I realized a connection between my mama and Oaks. Why is there a connection, Oaks? What did you do to my mama? Bad enough having to be raised by her, but to have her raised up for the zombie apocalypse? What the hell did you do, Oaks? Why did you wake up my mama from a grave that you put her in? Yep. So didn't Irene consult you and say, leave her alone, don't touch her, stay away? And you know, with the Strengthening Church Members Committee, being on it yourself back in the beginning, were you the one that ordered to have my mom lie about me? Was D. Todd still in training? Yeah. It is vital, audience, to get the correct interpretation, that you don't make up stuff to fit whatever sounds good for you. But we see this all too often with TV shows and movies and songs, and especially the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with their youth standards and values. Oh, it was great except for that one scene, that one word. If only that could be removed. Can't we have somebody do this for us and go to prison for the crime of doing such a thing to another person's artwork? If you wanted it a certain way, do it yourself. But it's so hard to get into the industry. Who said you had to get into the industry? If you want your own personal music, do it yourself. We have the technology now where people on YouTube are not professionals. They're not a part of any industry. They just get on YouTube and sing. Sing a song. Sing out loud to last all night long. Sing of good times or bad. Oh my hell. Michigan nightmares. I'm in kindergarten, and they have us sing for our parents. And from what I can recall, there was an underground parking garage there at Miller Elementary School, and that there was a stage set up for us. And it wasn't a curtain drawn stage, it was just a platform. It's most likely for unloading, for trucks driving in and unloading stuff, supplies or whatever. I don't know. I was in kindergarten. And I remember having to go there. They had chairs all set up. And I remember looking out into the audience as we were singing that particular song. To all of our parents who were in attendance. What the hell did you do, Oaks, to trigger all these memories? So interpretation. Everybody's arguing over which interpretation of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith's visions and church history is correct. Everybody thinks they know. Their interpretation is the one true interpretation. And you get groups that agree with each other that circulate it among themselves. Right, Alyssa? She doesn't want to listen to anybody. She thinks she knows better, and she gets all her information from John DALLIN, who thinks he knows better. I just want to scream. Nobody cares to know how to know truth. And we don't get taught for that reason. Public school system won't teach it to us in America. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints definitely ain't going to teach it to us. But we have the ability to learn what people are not teaching us because of the internet. We have Google search, even though it gets busted for $1 billion. Because of the rigged algorithms. And social media platforms are getting busted for their rigged algorithms. The church gotcha, guys. 2019, when Nelson got up and made the change. Jesus is offended with nicknames. You gotta frequently repeat the name Jesus to show reverence and respect for the name. Did Mormons not catch that like I did and did the videos and repeated them? Section 107 verses 2 through 4, guys. Look it up. Does it not make sense to you? It shouldn't. It should be very plain, pure, and most precious. And so, it was years ago when I did this, when I had different interpretations of Joseph Smith's first and second vision. And I would have Jewish, Christian, Mormon, I think even Islamic. Yeah, I had an Islamic one. Different interpretations. Had pretty pictures for it and everything. Somewhere in the files. And it didn't make sense to people, I guess. People said, well, obviously it's not other people's interpretations. It's absurd to believe. I have the one right interpretation. Are you sure? Because when it says Jewish in Jerusalem, At the beginning of the Book of Mormon. What the bleeping hell made you put in Christianity with Jesus? Yeah, Lehi saw Jesus come from outer space and gave him the Book of Mormon. What the bleeping hell is your major malfunction, Mormons? You don't turn it Christian. But Jesus, and who created Jesus as a Christ and with that name? Because it wasn't the Jews. Oh, right, that first creed of Christianity that Joseph Smith said is, repeat after me, all you returned missionaries, all wrong, all abominable, all corrupt, denying the gifts and powers of God, the Spirit of God. How did you miss this? Are you just that evil to deny the truth, like the Strengthening Church Members Committee are? Is this your fault, guys? Did you blow it again? Do you suck at giving reports? You have one job. One. You're supposed to be the best of the best of the best of the best, sir. And you failed? Are there members of the Strengthening Church Members Committee jumping out the windows of the church office building? Conditions are horrible. So that would be hilarious if you put Gil Bear in charge of the Strengthening Church Members Committee. I can see him doing that because of what Gil Bear did to BYU. I can see him doing that. And so Stevenson or Anderson or whoever it was in the April conference who suggested that he might have been the guy, I'm thinking it's Gil Bear. I'm thinking it's Gil Bear, which means he sucks at his job because he's going up against me now. I ain't no BYU teacher. So, to my audience, full disclosure, Gil Bear and I grew up together. Or at least we were born in the same area. Went to church together. I was the older by 3 months. April, May, yeah, 3 months. So, yeah, my mom, if she were still alive when Gil Bear got put in as my dad, when he heard the news, we go, oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah, he was born after my son was born. That bleep son of mine. You know, my mom would have known. She would have known little baby Gil Bear as she was holding me. Well, maybe not. Why does your son get to go to nursery school? We have to wait for a certain age before we can put our kids in the nursery. They said he can come. So yes, I get to do the one-on-one of my mother and Irene today. So let me write that down so I don't forget. Irene and Mom. I've gone over this before, and my one-on-one with Irene through Kimberly and his wife and Irene's daughter. That's right. I'm assuming she got married now and is all better. Unfortunately, she is expected to get dementia too, isn't she? As an inherited gene. It's not going to be good for her if that's the way she was when I met her. Feel sorry for her husband. It's going to be bad. And I saw my grandma. See, my grandma, sweet, lovable person when family's around. I don't, because I'm aware that Grandpa ordered her to have things done for him. That was a good cell tradition that my mom put a stop to my dad with. But and so I didn't really see my grandma as anything but a nice, kind, gentle woman. And when she got Alzheimer's, I saw it from the beginning in retrospect and saw her near the end before my dad had her institutionalized to be murdered by the care center, which I think it's KSL. I can't remember her name. She was doing a report on it this year. Investigative reporting, repeatedly exposing the abuse in the elderly care centers here in Utah. And so, they haven't stopped, apparently. Oh, you're running out of money? Oh, whoops, she died. Yeah, that's criminal. But you get people who are not medical doctors doing it so that they're not beholden to a Hippocratic oath. And so it's okay to murder people. Right, psychologists? Anyway. So my grandma, there at the end, she did not know reality anymore. And she was scared, and she was lashing out. My dad had to bathe her, and she fought him because she didn't recognize him. He was a stranger seeing her naked. She literally fought him physically because of the fear that she was having. She was very verbally abusive. So yes, everything was bottled up in her. So with Alzheimer's, it was all unleashed. She became a different person, not just mentally, but outwardly. So what the hell did you do to my mom, Oaks? So, I didn't catch it at first until yesterday. I did the video previously, and even earlier this year, so let's go over these. For my mom's birthday this year, I did the Mother of Mary, or the Gospel of the Birth of Mary. to connect it with the Book of Mormon, and how you're not supposed to use Christian interpretation, Jewish, to get the correct interpretation. And as Mormons, you should know better. You know, we have Article of Faith number 8. We believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly. And so the living prophets of Jesus say we're not going to translate the Bible correctly. If it's in the Book of Mormon, it's good. Errors and all. And so Kimberly didn't catch Charity because of this church and Benson's First Presidency statement on the King James Version of the Bible, which is all wrong, all abominable, all corrupt, denying the gift and power of God, Spirit of God. Translator. They don't say translator for their mantle title listing. I keep repeating this for you for these 10 years. And you just ignore it and hope it goes away? It means they're false. False prophets. You run the test. Oh, this is a quick one. They don't even have the seed. We can't run the test on their translation ability because they don't have a seed for it. And so sure enough, whenever they get up and they claim to give a translation, they botch it. Right, Oaks? Not just Nelson. Love the adversary. There were others who caught that besides me. But to have this church say Joseph wasn't a translator, that's crossing a line. To say that Joseph didn't have visions, what the bleeping hell? As you now call them literal histories? And again, we have access to the internet. There is no excuses anymore. Back in my day, yeah, there were plenty of excuses. I didn't know what a creed was. I heard about it from TV or movies. But how did I know what the creed was and what it said? Where do I go to? Nowhere. I had no way to know that information back then. Now, I can easily reference it immediately after the buffering of Google search. But I know where to go. And I used it yesterday, or the day before, or something like that. Because I think it was to Alyssa on her latest video that she came out with. Dear God, Alyssa, she's stalking me. Alyssa is stalking me. And she's refusing to believe. So I linked her to the 14-minute video that I did not too long ago. And linked her to the first creed of Christianity. She's a returned missionary. She knows she skips verse 19. She knows. And she's still playing this little game that John DALLIN is playing. John DALLIN went on a mission too, didn't he? Or is that why he's also in trouble? I am not looking him up. You got to get the correct interpretation, people. And when it comes to scriptures, you've got to make sure it's the correct translation, because I can guarantee you can't trust anything in English or any of the European languages, or any language for that matter, of the Bible. They're all wrong. They all need to be fixed. And I have come to learn for myself, Mommy, that Joseph Smith is correct about the biblical Hebrew text. That also is an abomination, which they should have known better, because the law says don't do it. And they did it. And they did it to the law. Dear God. And so, defining of words then, because of incorrect translation, incorrect interpretation, people now create new word meanings. And we see that in our culture. Every generation of teens create new words so that they can confuse their parents, not understand. And then the original meaning is eventually lost. And so now everybody is saying America is a democracy and it's in jeopardy by the other party. Have you never even read your Constitution? No democracy. Get it the hell out of here. It's an insurrectionist coup. And then these new Democrat socialists are again rechanging names and word meanings. It's just stupid. You can't have a democratic socialism. They don't go together. They both function completely different, and they're both bad the higher the population gets. It only works for small tribal family units. Because once you start expanding into multiple family groups, you can't use democracy or socialism. And I would have to do that whole video to explain the differences and types of government, because everybody gets them wrong. Gotta fix everything. Because you look at the platform. What are they doing? Oh, you're claiming to be a democratic socialist when you're a communist? There's a big difference. Nobody wants to care to know. It becomes a tribal group think. So yes, 1 Nephi chapter 11 verses 13 to 21. You are not supposed to use Christian Jesus here. You're not supposed to use the Mother Mary. Because now you're saying that the Book of Mormon is wrong. That Christianity with the first creed is true. And so you're then saying that Joseph Smith is a liar. At verse 19, he's wrong. As a Mormon, you're saying this. Christians obviously are going to say this. And they have been. Christians have attacked this and said, no! And Mormons say, yes! Because I feel it's so true. No, you interpreted it this way. Because of what the church leaders did to you and the brainwashing that they've done. And Church News, again, just the other day, I made the pretty picture with OAKS. Focus on Jesus Christ. They tell you to screw up the interpretation. That's what they teach you to do. That's not how it's supposed to be done when you do research, when you use the scientific process. There's a huge difference in interpretation. And I don't know how to get through to Mormons who don't want to be got through, who get instantly offended before you're able to explain. They don't want you to explain. You've already determined you're not in the right interpretation group. And so you're instantly judged and out. And so Mormons don't know what the hell I'm talking about with OAKS and my mama. You have to know the correct translation, the correct interpretations, and the correct definitions of words before I can go on any further to explain all this to you, and I'm going to do it anyway. Nephi is having a vision, so it's not a literal history. And yet, Mormons still understand it as literal history, as Nephi seeing into the future of the real Jesus and the Mother Mary. And yet, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have now turned a seer into just a mantle title. They don't actually see the future anymore. It all ceased with the death of Joseph. Verse 21, the Methodist preacher. They deny the gifts and powers of the Spirit of God. And all Mormons fall for it, because there's contradictions now. They say the Book of Mormon is prophesying about Jesus, but then, boom, it stops. Just like Christians and their alteration of the Bible. But they make it very clear in the Book of Mormon, and very clear by Joseph Smith, if you use the correct interpretation, learning of the Jews. And 2 Nephi 29. Mormons are the house of Israel, and thus the Lamanites and the Nephites, the two family groups. And so when Nephi, in his Tree of Life vision, goes on to tell us also that there are saved two churches only. Church of the Lamb, Church of the Devil. Oh, look, the Church of the Nephites, the Church of the Lamanites. The Lamanites have the Great Spirit Jesus, who takes over Jewish synagogues of the Nephites and replaces them with the Great Spirit Jesus. And you don't catch it? You know, I know little kids, it might be a little more complicated. You got to know how to study books and give reports correctly to the Strengthening Church Members Committee, not leave important information out. So yeah, if we get to Zion, I'll have to teach you how to learn. We're going to have to correct the English language. We might just have to do a new language for you guys. All right, everything's corrupt. We're doing a new language. There is that prophecy. And so, yes, this is also where I joke about the condescending Jesus. Knowest thou the condescension of God? And so, I just, dear God, you see Christians who are Gentiles in the Book of Mormon because they have the Bible. A Bible, we have a Bible, and we need no more Bible. That's who they're talking about, Christians. And so you go back to the Great and Abominable Church, and you see how they tamper with the Bible. Constantine. But it's a dualism, because that's what Brigham Young did to Joseph. So there are forged documents. There are plain, pure, and most precious covenants that have been removed by Brigham, or denied to be published by Brigham. There's different wording from the originals, etc., etc., etc. The concept of temples, I saw Associated Press clip on it, going over the Kirtland Temple. And Joseph Smith did not design it for the endowment, as you know it. It was just for washing and anointings. But the Nauvoo Temple was redesigned for Brigham Young's endowment. And then put inverted pentagrams all around the temple as witchcraft, occult Satanism to be specific, in which you do the inverted pentagram in a circle, stand in a circle, then you light yourself on fire. So I have that video to do. I did the one of Brigham and Heber yesterday or the day before. Nobody cared. YouTube is panicked. We're not showing any picture clips inside when you hover over. That way people won't be interested. Because if there's nothing to see, they ain't going to click on it. And that's another part of their rigged algorithms. Because what picture they show will determine whether people are going to be interested and click on it. They know this. There's a whole bunch of censorship going on. And so because Jesus and Mary are not Jesus and Mary of Christianity, that you're supposed to use Jewish interpretation, as I've been telling you about Matthew, it's not translated correctly, guys. It needs to be translated correctly. The book of the seed egg baby of Isaiah's cry, Messiah ben David. Isaiah's Messiah ben David. Ben Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. Then notice how it's not Jesus, it's Joseph. The whole thing is about being Messiah ben David, and it's not him, it's Joseph. Hilarious. So, yeah, the Gospel of Mary. Catholic Church definitely don't want it. And mainstream Christianity don't want it either. Because it's contrary to the first creed of Christianity. It follows the same pattern of the Jews, obviously. A barren woman prays to God, give me a child and I'll give them to the temple. Sure enough, that's Mary. And so, this is how she gets pregnant. It doesn't talk about it, but that's how it happens. She was in the temple as a Greek temple prostitute, where men come and pay their tithing to have sex with a woman. And despite all the videos I've done for that for Mormons, it doesn't click. Women get upset. Don't get upset with me. I'm just the one pointing out the Captain Obvious stuff. Trying to save you. You don't want to be saved. You want to be abused. And now, finally, the little girls are leaving the church. They go on a mission first to get out of Utah. I see that in my mom, too. You know, upon graduation, she got the hell out. Got her parents to send her to BYU, Hawaii, because Elvis. Just so creepy. I saw the new movie. Just so creepy. Oh my God, Mom. And yet I can see why and how she is the way she is. Because the church vilifies girls. And so girls are then having to feel guilty and ashamed, and that guilt and shame turns into anger and violence and aggression to enforce it upon other people, to save them, to protect them from the evils of women who are of the devil, addictive, and harmful to children. Dear God. Why, women? Why? So, despite all my attempts to get people's attention, Spirit, Sayer, Prophet, Revelator, Translator, you don't see it. You don't understand. That's what the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith are trying to teach you, to correct the errors of the Bible, of Christianity. That's why it's repeated so many times in the Book of Mormon and by Joseph Smith. And so, nonetheless, I also put Mom in the left position. 28 April 1944. And then 12/21/21. Assassinated by Church of the Devil. This requires higher level learning of the Book of Mormon and of Joseph Smith to understand who the Church of the Devil is who murdered my mommy. Grandpa and Grandma. And my mom's DNA. Haplogroup L. 180,000 years ago. So my dad's line goes back further. Until we can find older bones. Older bones. So, where's the other picture? Oh yeah, I already did that. Then so June 6th, after April 28th, I then did a repeat of the church trying to assassinate me at the same time they assassinated my mother. So the church doesn't want anybody learning how to investigate using scientific method. If you've seen the news lately, it carries over into other fields that are required to use it. You know, like law. You can't go into a courtroom and say, Your Honor, I feel that the defendant is guilty of the death penalty. Okay, yeah, I feel it too. Guilty, sentenced to death. But they use the same techniques that Mormons do for their interpretation of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. And so nobody sees what's going on with Tyler Robinson's case, for example. See, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says the Book of Mormon is literal history. And all Exfo Nevermos, Pymos, where's the plates? We need the plates. But they don't make the connection to study the Book of Mormon and learn about it, knowing that you're not supposed to use the interpretation of plates. And instead they say, oh, Joseph's mind. Joseph made it all up. They just created a new interpretation of the new interpretation of Brigham Young. Jewish. Use Jewish interpretation. You're just not going to do it, are you? Defiant to the end. And so, Tyler Robinson's case, the missing plates are the shooter came from that direction. But instead, they're insisting Tyler Robinson on the roof of the Luzay building. Wrong trajectory. And everybody's missing it. The judge saw the kill shot from two different angles. Both angles I saw myself. I saw it. I caught it. Why didn't the judge say, wait, the Luzay building's that way. It's clear he was shot from that way. Does the prosecution care to re-examine their case? He can do that. He's the one who decides whether this goes to trial or not. He, and he alone, will make that determination. And he saw the kill shots from the two angles that I saw also from that direction. And he's still hesitating and going on. And the defense, They've seen it from both angles. And instead, I think they're dismantling it piece by piece, because that's what my lawyer did in 2008. Yep, it all has to do with each other. You never talk about something in a book that doesn't have to do with the book. Same with a movie. And it's a little bit trickier because you got background stuff. You don't want the background to interrupt the show. Lead your audience astray. They'll get pissed. So the reason why the church wanted me murdered in 2021, as I've repeated the tale ever since it happened, the Biden administration ordered social media platforms to ban videos of medical misinformation. I do religious information. I don't do medical misinformation. But the Mormon YouTube employee said, hey. Video banned for medical misinformation. It's about the scriptures. Had nothing to do with medical. Sorry, it sucks for you, but we have to protect our audience from you. Any excuse they won't find, they use to shut me up and silence me, to commit crimes, to have me murdered. They just will not stop. They know the truth now. And they still won't stop. That is a level of evil that this world has never known. Mormons have now delved beyond whatever levels of hell that have been created by authors. Mormons are the darkest, most demonist, most satanic, most pure evil of the darkest of evil that have ever been known. And they don't see it. Their interpretation of reality is so warped that they have no problems murdering somebody or committing a crime against somebody and saying, I am justified. It's my right to do it. Right, legislature? Governor Cox, police chief, other government leaders, other business leaders, not just religious leaders. This is OAKS's legacy. Hinge-pointing Mormons to being the most evil, wretched, debasing humans that can ever be imagined. And even going beyond, because nobody can imagine this. They murdered my mom to shut me up and attempted to murder me. And so, both channels were shut down by YouTube. And so there was the dark ages of Travis. And then I saw from the news before October conference 2021 that the Southern Poverty Law Center had obtained a leaked copy of the 2014 membership of the secret combination seeking to overthrow the United States of America. And of course, I check for Mormons. W. Cleon Skousen was an honorary member because he's dead. And so, if he's dead, is there another Mormon who took his place? The firstborn birthright blessing, son Mark. And oh look, there's some other people who have been in the news seeking to overthrow the government. Sure enough, this is the secret combination. From the Book of Mormon, from Joseph Smith, from even the Myths of Mormonism. Benson talked about conspiracies to overthrow America, secret combinations. And I do the video clips of him. The Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington. Joseph, you're wrong. Because the church is in on it. I'm already aware of the Danites. I'm already aware of things. I've already found the Joseph Smith papers. Already know about 19 July 1840. And so conference comes along, or I then risk violating probation and do the video to expose this. And then conference comes. But they shut me down on purpose because conference is coming. They know they need to shut me down for conference because conference is the biggest viewing that I get. And so yeah, it wasn't that big. And so after conference, I'm well aware of the myth of the Adam on Diamond priesthood meeting. I had no idea that we were lied to in the myth. I had previously found a member of the 70 who wasn't referencing it, so he was claiming it was from him. And I know better than to trust that source, because he can't be the source for this myth. But that's all I could find at that point, until I found it. See, growing up, I could never find this information. My parents likely had the Way to Perfection in their library, but I would have never have known to go to it. There's so many other books in their library, especially when they combined them together, getting married. And so being away from my parents, I'm away from their library. So I'd have to know to look for it when I was growing up with them. And so I had other interests, like where is the Ark of the Covenant? And dragons. And because I couldn't find my name, so boring. Because they teach us about Joseph Smith in 2 Nephi chapter 3. Yeah, Joseph Smith was prophesied by the Nephites. Lehi knew that Joseph Smith was going to come. Oh wow, that's so cool. I wonder if anybody knew I was coming. I'm the youth of the noble birthright. That was before Benson would come out and say that. But I found it. Joseph Fielding Smith, The Way to Perfection, pages 290 and 291. Or 291 and 292? I think it's 290 and 291. And so I then do that video. And then, boom, all hell's breaking loose. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I already have 2 suggestions for the theme song in the description below. It's either going to be Mary Did You Know or Danzig's Mother. And so, after doing that video, I then began to notice that when I was forced to go weekly to get my check because of what they did to me in 2008, that Metro security was stalking me. Would hang out in the parking lot at the bus stop, right behind me, hiding behind the trees. Not very good, I saw you every time. Metro security was used by the church for the Taylorsville temple that was being built. And if you remember, they had an incident of somebody who'd broken in, was seen on camera. I don't know if they caused damage or if they were just trespassing. And so I know of their security because I have to travel that route to see the progress on the building of the temple. And it was the same route that I had to take week after week after week. We're still in the days of creeping death, and the church knows all about me. Not just from the Strengthening Church Members Committee and my membership, but they're also sore winners. They control the government. Nobody dares to molest them or make them afraid because the government here in Utah will protect the church. But I sued in the federal courts in 2020. And they were still holding a grudge. They don't like being sued, having a permanent record in the federal government's files. Oh, Holland had an episode, did he? On that very Monday? They were so humiliated that they wouldn't tell us that Holland had to be hospitalized for 3 weeks. See? That's 7. Well, the new homeless that are out there today, they seem more humbled than acting out. That's usually veteran homeless who do that kind of a stunt. But I don't know, they could be going into work right now. It's Sunday. And so, yes, I had sent out the emails on Sunday night so that they would receive it on Monday morning. And the church has their lawyers, and their lawyers have to consult with the leadership to let them know about the case and how to proceed. They're the client. And so they know about it. Holland that morning delayed the reporting of it because he was doing an interview with a Jewish rabbi in Israel, which the Jewish rabbi posted on YouTube. That's how I knew. They don't want me to know things, thinking that if they just don't tell me that everything will be fine. They can't claim that anymore. They should know better by now. You can't run away and hide from me. You just have to do what I want. I got that from my mom. So, the Adam-on-Diamond priesthood meeting is the coup of the United States of America, because Lucifer now holds the keys of government of the United States of America and ultimately the entire world. Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit about the Danites is the coup. And here, that coup of the Danites that they told to Thomas B. Marsh, that he put in his affidavit to the governor of Missouri, is encoded now, using Jesus in place of the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And Lucifer as the president of the United States of America. That the president of the United States of America is going to hand over the government of the United States of America to the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's what it means. You can't leave out Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit. You can't leave out the Joseph Smith papers of the Danites, Willard Richards, who confesses, yeah, we're the Danites. We've got an order of Danites in these days to put to rights physically that which we deem is not right. Oh? So that's why Joseph Smith went to Liberty Jail and Brigham Young took over? A coup. How are all anti-Mormon apostates missing this coup? You claim to be a historian and you still can't get it right? This is obvious what happened. So yes, the church is pissed. I gotta die. again, because they failed the first time. And so, one day, going my route to get my weekly money allotted by the government for what they did to me in 2008. We'll cover it, because the date. There happened to be a missionary card there at the stop. There are church missionaries here in Utah. The elders, for the most part, sister missionaries, were at Temple Square. Got to keep them separated here in Utah. And there are sister missionaries out here too, but not anymore. In case you didn't know, OAKS shut it all down at Temple Square, July 1st. And then he's going, oh crap, now we need to get volunteers for the open house next year, because that's when the missionaries would do it. Temple Square missionaries? Oh, perfect. They help with the open house. Hello? But it's because of the scandal with the apartment building. See, it wouldn't have been an issue if it were any other building and property manager. But nope. That one and all others that they own were targeted because the church was upset with them. So that's the only reason why it was in the news. Because otherwise, there are all other apartment buildings that are doing the same thing. Why aren't they in the news? And so, as the church does, we're out. We ain't gonna play no more. And so the missionary card was, how can I find lasting happiness? It's a big bleep you, Travis. The missionaries do not use the buses. They have bikes. They have to pay for their missions. They have bikes. My bus stop was around businesses. Residential people don't use it. Nobody really uses it. But it's there because it's on a bus route to areas where there would be residential places. And so, yeah, people could stop there if they're poor and have to walk to go to the... And I guess there is a discount food place, because I've seen that on a couple of occasions where people are trying to lug around a box. It's apparently down State Street. But there's no reason for them to do that, and they didn't do it on all of them. Just the one. Coming home. And so sure enough, that was when I'm denied my money. You can't deny me my money. They did. They were given the orders. Attempted murder. That the person in charge had to be taken aside to be threatened to murder me. She had no choice but to cave. She lost her honor and integrity. This was after my mom sent her last letter to me. The woman that I married leaked to my mom. Gave her my address. So my mom sent me a monthly letter, whether I wanted it or not. And in the beginning, I would read them, and she would be telling stories about how other people are doing the right thing or made restitution for the wrongs they did and are now getting their lives back in order. That's the way my mom's mind works. That's why I wanted to be free. She never wanted to understand who I was. She never did understand me. She had her interpretation of me, and there was no way of convincing her otherwise. But I am the only one she feels guilty over. And OAKS doesn't understand this. Your Strengthening Church Members Committee are nowhere near the level of quality of government intelligence agents to do this job right. And this is where you underestimated me. Even Putin's new guys lately, since the last 10 years, mostly in the beginning. I don't see much of him around anymore since he went into Ukraine on my daughter's birthday. And the day when I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew script. But I did the video, was again reminded of it, did the picture this year. They were trying to prevent me from being able to live. They cut off food, cut off paying for things. They had been already cyber terrorizing me, as they do normally, still to this day, as I'm noticing an AI cyber terrorist attack now, where it's projecting what I'm going to do and does it for me when that's not what I wanted to do. The bleeping hell is going on? That's not what I wanted. And I see that on YouTube now. YouTube will now tell me what I want to do. No, it's not. What are you doing? It cannot project what I want to do or what I'm going to do, despite all of the years doing the same thing. It's not about projection. It's about forcing agency to do what they want us to do. So even though they call it a projection, it's not. It's a lie. And so those who are gullible and say, oh, this is what you want them to do? Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. The latest Tide Pod challenge. Cool. I want to try it. Oh, ChatGPT projected that I should kill myself. Okay. I need to purchase a video, though, so I can do it. Oh, it's on my phone? Nonetheless, my mom sent her last letter in September. And so October came, nothing. So I would have expected a letter about somebody speaking at a conference about how to put me in my place. But I never read that September letter. I refused to open it. I'd had enough. And so it was filed away, and I don't think it made it to this apartment. And so November comes along. Siblings' birthdays. Still nothing. Christmas. Mom's not even sending a gift this year. Something's up. Something happened back in October that resulted in her death. 12/21/21. Right at the time where the church is on a full-on assault to murder me. To abandon my property, to shut me up, and murder me. And so I found on the internet my mom's obituary after Christmas. That she had died on 12/21/21. They don't say how she died. The woman formerly called my wife had notified me that earlier that year that my dad had had quadruple bypass surgery. That's expensive. They're already frustrated that the housing market was forcing them to continually lower the price of their home to prevent them from their retirement plans. And nobody was wanting to buy it because of the incident, I guess. I don't know. No reason to. Dad did extra stuff. Had to. They tried to get me to do it. I'm supposed to be the carpenter's son, not the carpenter. I have other work to do. Nonetheless, they don't understand any of that. For them, you have to be in hard manual labor all the days of your life. You're from that old school. thinking smart they call of the devil. Intelligence is of the devil. And so they finally got me on June 6th, 2022. And yeah, I caught on as I was hefting the 200-pound gold plates up the mountain. As they say, there's a trail that can get it over the mountain and then into Heber. Should have used my cart. Should have used my cart. But, nonetheless. So, now we have to do a flashback, and I hate flashbacks. And here I am pulling a flashback. Where do we go from here? So yes, my mom's birthday is the 28th of April, as I went over with you. And so August is not April. But if you've been noticing my videos lately this year, I have a lot of numbers times 2, or times 4, or times 3. There's a reason behind this. Whoops. So, actually, we probably should go to this other one first. Yeah. The first picture I did, even though I did both of them in the video, I think, was of the sign in the heavens for Jupiter and Mercury being together. So I've got the left eye of the Egyptian Christ there by Jupiter, at the left eye of the Cancer crab, who was considered a scorpion back in the ancient days. Well, technically it's a scorpion king. Crustacean. And putting the lunar eclipse that's coming up, because Oaks' birthday is done and over with now, after 3 days. Yep. He fled the country, boys and girls. I did the video earlier this year when I checked. Okay, we've got a temple coming out, because Oaks has gone missing. What's going on? So I'm checking. Okay, well, the temples are coming out, and there's some with Karen, I guess. I can't remember who was doing. I think Karen might be involved in one of them. But regardless, I don't remember. I don't memorize. And I noticed that the first one coming up was in Brazil for today. And I'm going, that's strange. Nobody's listed to dedicate it. Why aren't they listing it? Trump failed last year, so you're back in operation again. but it's Brazil. Obviously, it would be for Suarez. That's a gimme. Oaks doing the Burley Temple because that's so precious to him with all the memories. Gong did the one out in wherever, in Asia, or the Philippines, or someplace like that. Cambodia. Why didn't Oaks go to Cambodia? Would have come back just in time for his birthday. And so what the hell is going on? They'll never tell us. So we find out at the last minute, Oaks is going. He waited until the final moment to give word, I'm doing it. I'm taking off. I'm fleeing. And ooh, right after I did my videos. Huh. Isn't that interesting? I do my video content, he then announces he's fleeing the country. And so with red, obviously, there's some connections in scripture. But I'm starting to catch on with my mother, because prior to this, as I also put in here, I repeatedly warned you, Oaks, don't let me get bored. Sign it over. Quit fooling around. So we do need this one. Because originally, having caught on that there's a connection with Monson's birthday and his death day with Oaks's birthday and potentially his death day, because we're in the curse of Joseph Smith now. A curse of my mom, Oaks? Are you seriously? What the hell, Oaks? What did you do? You murdered her, one, but still, there's something deeper going on here. And so this was modified with some extra stuff. And so the original one just had the block print below over her body, over my belly. Judy, is wife of Father Emmanuel, mother of son Emmanuel, born 4th month, 28th day, 1944, murdered by church, 12/21/2021. And so Monson, that didn't have his pretty little face, I put Lion of Judah / Utah, parentheses Judas. This should be an easy, obvious one for Mormons to make the connection with. I don't know if they do. Monson's birthday was during the solar eclipse on the 21st of August 2017 to start the latter days. It has begun, Mormons. Let mortal combat begin. Bunch of mortals on a leaky boat to save the world. I am the chosen one. Utah Saints. Mortal combat! And I see the guy's having problems with his car again. He'd been silent for a long time, and now just lately he's back. So I noticed this connection with Oaks because of where the solar eclipse is taking place. So yes, I see that there's more research I have to do now. Thanks a lot. Because I noticed certain other people have had switching patterns. Hinckley and Faust was the big one that I recall, having a flipped the script pattern. Interesting. And so here we are with Oakes and Monson. The first at the beginning and the last at the end. The last president. It's about Oakes, not Trump. Oh, it's also about Trump? Yep. And so I see I put a typing error in here. Could have made that bigger if I removed religious, because it's not the religious calendar. The day has a religious calendar, as I went over with you. And I made that pretty picture because the anonymous Mormon said, hey, when's 9/11? Is it on the new year for the Egyptian calendar? So I pulled it out and made the pretty picture. Ancient Egyptian religious New Year, first day, first month of David, Thoth. Day of separating out disobedient. So, yep. But I ended up putting ancient Egyptian religious calendar, religious civil, not calendar. And so I could have put civil and probably snuck in calendar, but regardless. The typing error is there. And so 4th month, 28th day. Oh, and thus my connection with Mom. Her birthday. Her name, Judy, Judith, is Judas, Judah, Utah. Phonetically the same. She's living in Utah now. When she died. And so then, in red, below Oakes' birthday, Oakes' head added in 8 parentheses 4 times 2 28 4 times 7 26 parentheses 13 times 2 18 years later 13 plus 666. So you had to see the other pictures during Oakes' birthday bash. It's your party and you'll cry if you want to. Cry if you want to. So the added adjustments beyond that was to put Hatshepsut. Because, oh, look at that. She's the similitude of my mother, because she's the mother of the similitude of me. Son Emmanuel is the family name. Emmanuel. And I'm horrified of how I'm going to have to fix everything here. Because they know it's almond, but you don't see the sun except outside of the cartouche. But the other name that she has uses the same sun for Emmanuel, but now they're saying it's wrong. Ra doesn't have the dot in the middle, you dumbasses. God, all these Egyptologists who think they're so smart and they're dumber than bricks. Ruining it. And so, why am I not able to read this well? United with Amun. God. I don't have the other one to see. Of noble women. Foremost. It's not foremost. See, for example, by clicking up a new picture screen, it did the default. So brilliant with its intelligent design of projecting what I'm going to do that I repeatedly do every single time. United with Amun, foremost of noble women. God, why is it clear on here? Why is it ruined on the other one? And so yes, this is outside of the cartouche at the top is the family symbol. The duck goose with the solar eclipse. But because it has Amun, that's why they put Amun. But she has some extra stuff here. And I don't know how to interpret this correctly and translate it correctly. But there you see the jug for the waters of life, and then the bread loaf for the bread of life, and then the bread of the lion, Judah, Utah. Family crescent. So Judah is a lion's whelp. There you go, Egypt, the whole time. And so women, they have a man sitting on his throne with the flail only. It's because she was a female pharaoh. She has to be personified as male. So Joseph Smith is correct in facsimile number 3. I went over with him. So what is going on? So looking at the patterns, I finally caught on. Monson is not involved because he doesn't fit the pattern. My mom was not upset with Monson, even though he was the one who caused 28th of August. So my mom is up to something else in her brain now that she's dead. Risen from the zombie apocalypse. Hatshepsut also, by the way, I noticed a fun little factoid. She had a 22-year co-regency with her son until he grew up to take over himself. 22. He could have done it at 18. That's typically a good age to get married as well. And yet, 22. This is how stubborn she is. And then I went, wait a minute. 22, that's when I got married. Oh, facsimile number 3. Hatshepsut is the female pharaoh standing behind Abraham on the throne at a marriage wedding supper feast of the Lamb at the Lion House, next to the Beehive House, room number 13 in the Philistine Temple, with the inverted pentagrams on the keystones of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Yep. Yeah, she was a little... Yeah, she... I guess I have to explain it now as to why she didn't get to come to the wedding. Nope, I have no family. They're all gone. So, now I have to do the flashback. Because the 28th of August, 2008, 18 years, number 18, is when I had my dream. 8 days after, in the month of 8, when the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints ordered and paid to have me assassinated, tortured unto death, and erased from history. But we don't want to do a flashback on flashbacks. Try to avoid this. We're already at 2 hours, dear hell. It's gonna be a 3 hour, cause the camera will shut off automatically at 3 hours, so I better not go longer. So, my mom was born privileged, and being white, as she obviously is, but knows of her dad's North Carolina slave owner family and the incident of the raping of the 14-year-old slave girl ancestor. So this also endeared her to Elvis. Just not the music of jazz and such. Just to Elvis's music. Before he got involved in drugs. And then Elvis is dead to her before he died. That's the way my mom is. If she doesn't like it, it's removed from her brain. So I ceased to exist in my mom's mind when I hit puberty. And so my mom, whenever I would talk to her after that, always talked about the days before I hit puberty. Because she doesn't see me as existing afterwards. And so what she had done to me happened before it was after puberty. Which could also explain why she's trying to delete it from her brain, and thus why she struggles with it. And so, like I already said, she went to BYU Hawaii. She went on a mission to the eastern states, which was only up in Canada, in the Montreal area. English speaking. And she had a vast library of church books. My grandpa, her father, was big into studying the church. I think his parents were before that, because his parents were the chicken farm up in Logan. And so it wasn't too many generations before that. I don't know if I have that information in my genealogy tree picture. Or if it's just the names. I think it's just the names. Especially when you go back far enough, it's just names. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pictures, all of which I had to form into the way I wanted it to be formed. And so here's number 11 and defaulted. Yeah, I don't have any of the locations. And so Hannibal Smith, and then Henry Cannon Smith. Then Cannon Smith with Barbara Pollard. Then Mary Columbia Formie Duval. That's our French line. French royalty. And there's our Gore family. And there we have a connection to the Pratts through Philander Franklin Perry. Philander Jackson Perry was married to Arvilla Pratt. So I'm guessing Parley P. Pratt's daughter, because right there at that time. John Solomon Fulmer is right there in that same generation. Doesn't necessarily mean anything the further back you go, but. And then Nathan Yearsley. That is interesting. He was abandoned by Brigham Young. He and his actual wife. Oh, no. Nathan David Yearsley and Marianne Wright. Yeah. Right. Okay, something's weird. Marianne Hoops. There it is. Oh my hell. See, yeah, it's not in line. David Dutton Yearsley, Marianne Hoops. He was the one abandoned by Brigham Young. God, I did just yesterday I was checking on this. So this is an interesting side tangent that is helpful for the bigger picture. So endure this. David Dutton Yearsley was baptized into the church. Let me bring it up. It's still fresh in the files here somewhere. PDFs, huh? Okay. The church has everybody listed in the wagon train that came with them. And they didn't list them correctly. It was just, dear God. They alphabetized it by the first name, not the last name. Who did this? Was it a volunteer church service missionary? And so he was born in Thornbury, Chester, Pennsylvania, 1808 on March 3rd. And so Thornbury, Chester is over to the east. Marianne Hoops is more towards the church activity areas. And she was born September 11th, or they were married on 9/11, 1830. But he didn't get baptized until July 22nd, 1841. So they hadn't been found by the missionaries or didn't join the church for another 11 years. They were married, living their life there in Pennsylvania. And despite the high activity in Pennsylvania of missionary work, they got missed. They joined 11 years later. right after everything was hitting the fan. And so they missed out on the early missionary work there in Pennsylvania, and then the church moved to Ohio, and then the church tried Missouri and Brigham Young's coup, and now Joseph Smith is back out again, and Brigham Young is plotting his next attempted coup when he joins. And Joseph Smith does the baptism. And so then he's called by Joseph to be a missionary in the California mission. February 21st, 1844. Which may not have been, because it wasn't Joseph. Brigham Young. Yep. Send him away. That's important to know in the bigger picture of things, if I were to do a research video on that. Because Brigham Young sent away undesirable Mormons to certain places, and that is a scouting mission in advance of the coming assassination of Joseph. But David Dutton wouldn't have known it. It is David Dutton, right? David Dutton, yeah. And so it was Nauvoo that he moved to be called to leave and go to leaving his wife. That's also Brigham was wanting to get rid of him so that when Joseph is about to be assassinated, she would be all alone, and Brigham Young steps in. I'll take care of you. I see the bigger picture here going on. And and so sure enough, he comes back, and this would have been my mom's input. My mom exclusively denies anybody touching her genealogy. Nobody touches it but her. Because if you want something done right, you do it yourself. She does not want anybody touching her genealogy. She's been that way the whole time. And so to have February 1st, 1846, my mom knew damn well that Brigham Young did all of the polygamous sealings after Joseph is dead. She knows this. And then Desdemona Fulmer of my dad's side? Yeah, obvious. My mom knows. My mom has the correct information of these sealings. It was not at any other time. And so the church is already struggling with my mom on this one, as they're trying to keep it a secret and lie to everybody that Joseph Smith did it from 1841 to 1844. Section 132 says it was 1843. Believe us or die. And my mom knew the truth. She told me. I knew. Joseph Smith was never a polygamist. It was all after he was dead. And so Mark Augustine in Newburgh, New York for 6 months, you bastard. Whiny little baby going to the mission president every week. Mean, he wants to give me agency. He doesn't want to take it away. And he comes back and says, I've got it all figured out. I know how to leave you next month for transfers. I'm going to have a positive mental attitude. Creole Coford saw right through you, you bastard. 6 months, my hell. And that's what he couldn't learn from me. That's what I was teaching him. Chill, dude, relax. It's just a mission. People either say yes or they say no. If they say no, don't take it personally. Move on. We're getting to know the people. We found out that they're all related to each other, and we've got their genealogy chart all made up for them. I'm not kidding you. They're poor, so they can't travel out, and so everybody's related in the community. And under the first Bush, when he declared war on drugs, that was one of the target spots. And so still, when I was there, they had the boarded up apartment buildings. Dear God. So my mom knows the truth about polygamy. She would not fall for the church lying about her family. So sure enough, I confirmed that, yep, that is the case from the document that I've been going over with you. But the other person put in the 7th of February, not the 1st of February. Now, as my mom is very particular, and she's the only one that touches it, so that the other woman, as I caught her with a typing error in a previous one, it's supposed to be 1811, and instead it was 1181, that I go over in the video. You know, my mom does make mistakes, but she's very particular. But a 1 and a 7, it's easy to see how that can be made a mistake, because the 1 has a little thing at the top like a 7. And so I can see the other woman making the mistake of thinking it's a 7 rather than a 1. I'd have to check the original documents that she's referring to. The book that Brigham Young kept. But that's my mom involved here, and this has a part and parcel in this discussion, to know who my mom is. And so I have to then talk about how she met my dad because of this. So after her mission, she doesn't want to stick around with mommy and daddy, even though it's a mansion down there. Apparently her mom didn't want to be around her. And so she talks about the story of, as a teen girl, there was a missionary who had a physical disability or injury that required, with a permission slip from the mission president, to get therapy from the pool. And since they were rich, had a mansion, Grandpa was a child's dentist because of him in World War II serving in the Pacific and then being transferred to Alaska, where he worked on the teeth of the wounded soldiers, and then seeing grown men screaming in agony and pain, he got post-traumatic stress syndrome, and so he then went to child dentistry instead. And after World War II, that was a gold mine field to be in. Everybody needs their teeth fixed, and he was honest, and he was the best ever because he's honest. He doesn't try to cheat people by doing a poor quality job for you to come back and pay more money. And so with children, there's a lot of poverty, and he wanted to make sure that every child could get good dental care. And so his pricing was cheap. And this is an economic business strategy that no company knows about and doesn't believe is possible, that I keep telling you about. Lower your prices to the lowest you can make them, but keep the quality high. Make sure you pay your employees well, and your business will prosper. It is a business strategy that doesn't make sense for a greedy person. As we all see the traditional technique of a new product comes out on the market, they've got to jack up the price as high as possible because they're going to get so rich. And then, yeah, they only get a few, and then depending on the success of the product, you'll see the success of it by how quickly it lowers in price. And when a new technology comes out, how long is it going to take until it drops in price? Then you've got cell phones and automobiles that are replaced every single year to cover up the poor quality of the product. So, yeah, it's a scam that I've caught on to because of my upbringing. Not to mention my dad getting the Ford Motor Company job in the accounting department because of the news reporter who exposed the Ford Motor Company with their fraud and the Pinto that resulted. So yes, American history and me are one and the same. And so my mom, while watching the missionaries swim as a teen girl, Mom, Elvis, now watching men swim. I'm seeing a pattern. And she claims that the Spirit, Holy Ghost, talks to her all the time. Who are you talking to, Mom? The Holy Ghost. But he was telling you to hurt me. Dear God. And she says that the Holy Ghost told her that you need to marry this type of man. So she caught on and returned full-time missionary. Because the quality in Southern California at that time was lacking. They weren't active, they didn't go on missions, and so their lifestyle choices were not appropriate for her. And so in order to find somebody, obviously she needs to move to the biggest population of the most returned missionaries, Salt Lake City. And so sure enough, well, Utah, I don't know if it would be Provo, but I don't know, whatever. She got a job in Salt Lake City working at a dental office as a dental hygienist, or a receptionist. She was able to help too. And it wasn't because of her dad, even though she did learn some stuff from him, but she says it wasn't because of that. Whatever, Mom. And and so obviously she's in a ward, she's single, and she needs home teachers, and the elders quorum president assigned my dad to be her home teacher. And I'm sure there was a companion, obviously, but they don't talk about them. She would have had visiting teachers as well, but nonetheless. For the purpose of the story, leave out all the other information. So one night, my dad came over, and she was in an apartment with multiple girls. So it was the whole apartment. And he came over to home teach and brought his genealogy as an object lesson to talk about whatever it was he was talking about, and it had to do with genealogy, I guess. And he left it behind. And so my mom sees that he had left his genealogy behind in their apartment, her apartment. And so, yes, obviously she's thinking in terms of, this is causing a mess, it needs to be moved, removed. What is this doing here? I'm going to throw it away. Oh, it's his. She did not like him. He was not the type that she liked. And then the Spirit tells her, Holy Ghost, one day you'll be doing his genealogy. She said, hell no, I'm only doing mine and my husband's. And then the moment of, oh crap. And so she dates him because he's asking, and that's her philosophy. Well, he's paying for it. And so they're always arguing and debating with each other as to who's right and who's wrong over Benson and what he's going to say at conference, and then he would never speak on the subject matter at conference, and then other doctrinal issues, because he has his church history library, and his interpretation clashes with her interpretation. That's why I talk about interpretation as essential in the beginning of the video. You're both wrong, Mommy and Daddy. Yep, I was out debating both of them at a young age. Oh, God. I was up late last night also. I still woke up early though, that's why I'm really tired, and it's over 2 hours now. Yeah, 45 minutes left, Travis, hurry up. And so one day, my dad graduates from the University of Utah because BYU wouldn't accept him because his seminary credits prevented him from qualifying to go to BYU. So the University of Utah took him. And I guess it was accounting or business management, because Berkeley was accounting or business management, whatever. And that's why he was able to go right into the job at Ford Motor Company when he graduated from Berkeley. Perfect timing. And so he comes to her, as he typically does, I guess. And my dad's personality, he is a Democrat, but my mom is a Republican. But you need to understand the switchover after World War II. Democrats were the KKK Democrats. The Republicans were the sensitive snowflake commie Republicans. Abraham Lincoln was a commie Republican. Nobody wants to admit this. It was Senator McCarthy with the Red Scare where things got flipped on the platforms. Now the Republican Party is the KKK neo-Nazi Republicans. And the Democrats are now becoming, the Democrats are now the commie Democrats. So there's a switch that took place. And so my dad, clearly as a farmer, had not made that connection of the changeover. They're still thinking that Democrats represent KKK Democrats. My mom, however, was in on politics, and so she made the connection, and Heil Hitler. Right, Oaks? And so my dad also was a womanizer, massive flirt. Going to the grocery store with him as a little boy, seeing him flirting with the cashier girls. Oh, this is funny, Dad. Yay! You're teaching me how to communicate with women properly. I'm sure I'll be a smooth operator when I get to school. No, I quickly learned that, yeah, my dad's techniques were not helping me. So yes, my mom didn't put up with flirtatious guys. Because of her experience at BYU Hawaii, she refused to date the Hawaiians because racism. This was before 78. She always uses as her excuse, well, my parents are worse. Really? You're throwing Grandma and Grandpa under the bus to justify you doing what you're doing? Anyway. And so she'd only date the sailors that come into port there in Pearl Harbor. Who are excessively horny. And so she, not being given sex ed, as no Mormon is, gets her sex ed from dating men. And of course, she doesn't get taught correctly either, because they don't know what's going on either. So nonetheless, she therefore shut me out of her life, erased me from her mind when I hit puberty. Because in her mind, a man's sex drive is evil and of the devil. And that was back in the days when the church said you're only supposed to have sex to have babies. And so it's just a quick couple of minutes is all it takes. That's how it was. So, this is where her interpretation of Mormonism caused her to say yes when my dad says, I'm going to Berkeley, are you coming with me? That was his marriage proposal. And so she prayed about it, and she was reminded of her childhood, teen years, watching the missionary swimming with just the swim trunks. And leaving his genealogy behind at her apartment. So she agreed, because it's a duty in this church. The women is to blame. Adam didn't fall that man might be, Eve did. She's to blame. And so, yes, that priesthood, patriarchal authority was a conflict in her brain as well, because she clashes. She knows she's right and everybody else is wrong. And so when corrupt authority comes around, she has to conform and comply, and it pisses her off. She knows she's right. That's why she does things herself whenever she can. She doesn't want other people touching it. And so she said yes for that reason. They went down to Los Angeles, where her family is. So they got married in fulfillment of prophecy. Then they went up the California coast. And she slept the whole way rather than being able to see it. Stop along those sides and see things. Nope. Got to get to Berkeley. Got to get to Berkeley. And meet the Gilberts and the Wilford Griggs. And that's how that happened, where that connection comes from. So, when Irene was in a position to go around the world looking for sites for temples, I'm kind of confused as to when that was. It seems like it was back when I was a teenager, so that she had the banquet when I was a teenager. But I had my own life and I didn't care what they were doing and blah blah blah, and there was no communication about what they were doing anyway. Oh, also, many times in their marriage, as I'd watch, whenever they disagreed, they wouldn't argue in front of us, kids. They went to their master bedroom and then we would hear them arguing. And in the end, without fail, my dad would pull the priesthood card and she would have to submit. She knew she's right. And you know she knows she's right, and she ain't listening to you when she does that. All of this is essential as to what the hell did you do, Oaks? What the hell? So, my mom's one-on-one with Irene. She goes to the banquet. Irene is there. She sits next to him at the banquet. How'd that happen? They never say. Nonetheless, she's sitting right next to him. She knows he's down there looking for places to build a temple. So it's an obvious question to ask, because she's at the point where the kids are starting to grow up, and I guess if it's the date when I checked, that Tabitha hadn't been attempted yet, That would have been my junior year. And oh God, don't even get me started on how I knew that they were involved with that. The TV room, pool table room, was right below their master bedroom. So I'm watching TV late at night. Oh my God. Oh, that's it? Yep. Okay. So it's just that quick and easy, huh? Thanks again, Dad, for teaching me sex ed. Because you didn't teach me when you were supposed to teach me, and Mom spent hours with the girls. She said penis. What? Are we allowed to say penis? I guess so, if Mom said it. My dad was just stood in the doorway of our bedroom, across the hall from girls, door shut. My dad says, "You're at the age now where you might wake up with the bed wet. So if you have any questions, let me know." And Todd just stood there, all eager and hoping to learn something, and then Dad goes off into his master bedroom and shuts the door. I did my job. I'm done. That was it. Anyway, so I had to rely on TV, movies, to get my sex ed. Because I couldn't tolerate hanging around my childhood peers with their sex ed that they were talking about, the white supremacist Christian nationalists. Oh my hell. So, he's obviously down there looking for places for a temple. My mom is the way she is, so she gets right to the point. So, do you have a temple site set up down here in Southern California? Where? She's thinking about potentially moving because she wants to be by a temple so that she can do her family genealogy work and do the ordinances for them for retirement. But Irene, not knowing my mommy, being who he is, clashed. There are people around the world who have to travel days walking uphill both ways in the snow barefoot, selling their last chicken to get to a temple. My mom is thinking to herself, so no, your answer is no. And with the next conference announcement of temples, and a new temple in Bountiful, Utah, just down the block from President Irene, or Elder Irene. Bountiful temple announcement. That's how I knew. Oh, yep. That's the way my mom talked about it. She knew she was right. And she won't let a living apostle of Jesus tell her otherwise. And he did. So what the hell did you do, Oaks? Didn't Irene warn you? Didn't you listen to the reports of all the video content where I repeated this information? How did you botch this? It's bad enough that I gave you adequate warning in advance for months. But to piss off my mom too? What the hell did you do? Oh my God. So 2008, just to skim over it, I had deciphered Paleo-Hebrew script on the 24th of February 1997, and she left, and I'm just, God, first wife, and so I have to restore everything because she took my laptop computer. Because it's, anyway, we won't get into details like that. See, the milk strippings, kids, are the creamiest part of the milk. So don't defend your wife's honor. You'll get excommunicated from the church. Get a good weapon. Thomas B. Marsh. It's not too disconnected. That was the kind of mindset my mom had too. Because the church leader's telling her to have it. And so I am the only one that she feels guilty over. She has regrets with me. Not just because of hitting puberty, but with Todd, he had colic. And so she had to be with him 24/7. And so I needed to be by myself. So she sat me in front of the TV. Ooh, Sesame Street. Yay, Ernie and Bert. Cool. Cookie Monster. Grover. All your favorite hits. Rubber Ducky, you're the one. There were 2 instances in Placentia where I guess I was being stubborn and we were clashing. And so I go to get in the car. She's demanding I get in the car. Slamming the door. It's probably both. But I notice this one, you can see the little impression maybe in the nail. I don't know if you can see it very well. I can. You don't see it in this nail. she slammed the car door and off came my fingernail on 2 occasions. Then, while washing my hair in the bathroom sink, it was scalding hot water. It hurt. And so I'm screaming in pain, and I'm a tall kid. You know, it had 2 sinks, but and so she takes the soap, this is her sympathy, and shoves it in my mouth. And of course, I'm deeply offended. What the bleeping hell? She's hurting me. And that then caused me to bang my head on the faucet. I'm being child abused. Get Child Protective Services here to the rescue and ruin my life. So yes, from that moment on, I do my own bathing. Same with laundry. Oh, I hit puberty. I'm doing my own laundry now. See, my dad, for bottle feeding, yeah, hold the bottle yourself, kid. I'm reading the paper. And sure enough, I had to hold it or I ain't getting fed. Because, yeah, my mom's double D's for today's sign in heaven. They weren't enough for me. I needed more, so I had to have rice formula. So that's what my dad would feed me. Well, she went to sleep. And so I had to hold my own bottle. Nonetheless, my kids were all bigger than I was. Man, revenge is sweet. Well, you claim you're the reason for the fall. It's your punishment. Just those kinds of arguments you really don't want to get into. Because you know your marriage is going to end quick. But I didn't bring it up. Obviously. Made her make the choice. God, so abusive. Anyway. So yes, my mom was also the one who said when she was leaving with the kids and the computer and all my research on the floppy disks. The children belong with their mother. Children belong with both parents. She has no just cause for leaving. She had planned and premeditated it. But mother didn't care. Mother came down with family proclamation, shoved in my face. Didn't tell me what I was violating, just shoved the family proclamation in my face. I'm supposed to read it and know what I'm supposed to do, therefore? Because I was doing it. I didn't violate it. She is. Not according to my mom's interpretation. And so 2008. The church had ruined me, financially ruined because of the divorce that she got up in Canada without me. Sailing cancellation was granted. because of my feelings, I had to submit it. You want my feelings? I'll give you my feelings. You're not going to like it, and that's why I'm going to give them to you. And so I file a petition for redress of grievances on the 6th of August, 2008, in the state of Utah, rather than the federal courts, trying to get the church to leave me alone, trying to get Shirtlift to leave me alone. And instead, they manufactured a whole scenario, just like with Tyler Robinson. I know exactly what he's going through. They haven't changed. Despite the people in the positions of the power, they have not changed. And so, meeting with the Strengthening Church Members Committee, OAKS, with the Padawan learner, D. Todd Christofferson, were ordering Shirtlift as to what to do. And so they contacted my parents and tried to, it's weird. It really doesn't make sense. And I know, Tyler Robinson, what the hell? This doesn't make sense. What are you doing? That direction. What are you doing? Criminals ain't the brightest people in the ship, in the deck, or whatever. And so they convinced my parents that they needed to testify against me. My dad was all on board. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to put in there that he raped the neighbor and that he always settles problems with violence. Yeah, that help you? I've got plenty of mountains of evidence. Mountains. Just ask. I'll give it to you. Mountains. Like the time you hit me and then panicked in fear because you thought I was a lazy bum. Who settles problems with violence? Dad? Are you beaming moding to help the state of Utah? I mean, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? My mom, however, because of this guilt, and I forgot, oh, right, I forgot. God, we gotta do another flashback. Sixth grade graduation. The big event, all parents knew about it. All parents showed up. Big celebration performance, getting a diploma ceremony, walking in front of the whole audience. And then everybody goes home afterwards with their parents. All of the school personnel that were there are gone home too. And I am all alone. Mom never showed. Do you know how crushing that was? I'm already tearing. I was abandoned. A crowded auditorium, packed, and I was all alone. And that wouldn't be the first time. I would eventually go on to the singles wards in Utah. Packed and all alone. And because of this shock that my mom bailed on me, I wandered around in shock, state of shock. I got this one. Just wandering around the house, just like I did when she left me with the kids and my research. I wandered around the house in shock while my mom's visiting teachers happened to show up at that time, ignoring me. I'm just walking around the school and went and sat down in front of the building, whether it was my class or not, I don't know. And just sat there trying to comprehend what just happened. The school made it a big event, and my mom missed it. I got leverage on my mom from that point on. Because I go home eventually, I had to walk. How was school today? We didn't have school. Why? It was graduation. I get to do it now. She was devastated. And so, yeah, I didn't want to go in and talk with her. I just went to the kitchen and got some food and went and sat in front of the TV. She bawled. Take that, mommy. And I didn't know back then. She didn't tell me. She would eventually say that she's got something and doctors can't figure out what it is. It's narcolepsy, Mom. Why can't the doctors figure out narcolepsy? Because it's not like the Hollywood presentation of narcolepsy. But doctors were trying to say that it might be diabetes, it might be hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, it might be thyroid disease, and that's what it eventually ended up being treated for, but wasn't working. So doctors hadn't got a clue. So the best thing they could tell her was, I don't know, eat right and exercise. Not working. But my mom often would just collapse, go to sleep, doze off. At the temple, at church, doze off. And that's what I do. I do the same thing. I get to the point where I'm just exhausted and I have to crash. So I'm aware of it coming so that I don't keep doing things and I feel it coming on. So I know, all right, I gotta quickly end whatever I'm working on and get to the bed. Because growing up, though, I didn't know. I didn't know it was what my mom had. I just know I'm doing it. And of course, the church telling you to work by the sweat of your brow, not intelligence. And so therefore, they're telling us we're lazy if we're not always working. And so the church was putting guilt on me on that way also. Multiple ways of guilt and shame. Being Mormon. You're never good enough. You're scum. it's narcolepsy. So I've found that Mountain Dew helps moderate narcolepsy. Doesn't do well for the seizures. That's peanut butter that I need for that. When I feel a seizure coming on, I need to go and get the Reese's peanut butter cups and unwrap them quick. That's the frustrating part. Fortunately, knowing about this, I've been able to prevent it, and I have peanut butter sandwiches to compensate, but obviously with jelly, mounds and mounds of jelly. Because that's another great thing. My body can handle a whole ton of sugar, and my DNA says you're good to keep going. I knew that as a kid. I don't need my DNA to tell me that. And yet the second wife, you shouldn't eat so much sugar. Yes, I should. Why do women try to control men's agencies? But nonetheless, so her testimony against me was very revealing about her mental lapses. Instead of falsely accusing me like my dad rushed to do, she said that I have always been a sensitive snowflake since the divorce. She was trying to claim that the divorce caused the change. Now, what part are you leaving out, Mommy? Her responsibility. Dad never even brought that crap up, as he denied his responsibility. But he wasn't going to bring up sensitive snowflake feelings. It was criminal actions he's bringing up. My mom was a sensitive snowflake feelings, because that's the way she is. A white supremacist Christian nationalist, despite the 14-year-old in her father's line. Oh, man, we're nearing 3 hours. I'm gonna have to stop and start over again. Crap. And so that's what my mom said, is that something happened with the divorce. Not her leaving and abandoning me and my mom coming down and throwing the family proclamation in my face. And her saying that children belong with their mother. All of that was out. And so as a result, they then said, great. Travis has a history of mental retardation because they got my parents to go see a mental retard to make them mental retards and to pay them for my problems. And so while I'm sitting there for hours, and then going into the drunk tank for hours, and then sitting in the lobby of the Salt Lake County Jail for hours, watching everybody else get processed quite quickly. It was a rather busy station that day. Everybody was getting arrested. But everybody else was getting processed. Except me. And so eventually, the psycho of the jail wants to talk with me. And now, in retrospect, I now understand what happened. Because of my parents lying to the cops, saying, yeah, he's got a history of mental illness. You know, my mom says, oh, yeah, with the divorce, he took it hard. This is where interpretation screws up lives and destroys them. They then were searching through Utah's databanks everywhere, trying to find my history of mental retardation. They can't find it. Crap, what do? We can't pink slip them. And thus, they had no choice but to get the shrink at the jail to lock me up in the lower dungeons for the rest of my life, with no trial, no lawyer, no rights. And I got out because I faked a toothache. Because faking the arm injury didn't work. The nurse guy said, good. Everybody assumes I'm a criminal. Everybody assumes I'm guilty. And I'm being charged as a terrorist now. That's their backup plan in case I get out. They're all in on threatening me. How dare you sue according to your First Amendment rights? And so, thus, the dream on the 28th of March, or August, 28th of August, 2008. The Hinckley dream. And we'll be right back after these important messages